So, good evening, you beautiful people who are here live. A huge shout out to those people who are watching on the replay on Facebook, or maybe you're watching on the replay on YouTube, or you're listening to the Acts on This TV audio experience that goes out every week on iTunes, well, Apple Podcasts, what it is now, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, for free. If you ever can't make these live sessions on a Monday night on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, then you can catch up on the audio for free every single week. Just search for Act on This TV, all one word, on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts or SoundCloud or anywhere you get your podcast from, pretty much. And you will find the Act on This TV audio experience where you can just listen to us chewing the fat on a Monday night about all things acting industry. Got lots of stuff to cover this evening. Before I dive into playing some video clips out of last week's member-only mastermind session where we looked at acting for video games. Video games is without a doubt the fastest growing sector of the acting industry. The budgets are rivaling Hollywood films now. We're talking tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars going into video game production, and they require obviously lots of actors for that to make those video games as realistic as possible. Motion capture, performance capture, facial capture, voiceover. We had one of the UK's pretty much one of only two casting directors in the entire UK industry that focuses specifically on video games. Jessica Jeffries with us last week. I'm going to play you some clips out of that if you're not a member of Acts on This and you missed that session. If you are a member of actsonthis.tv, you will find that session. If you just pop over to the site, click into your members area as usual. I'll just show you very quickly now. You will find that session right at the top of the latest 5 features. It says there, landing acting work in video games with performance capture casting director Jessica Jeffries. Just over 2 hours, about 2.25 hours. Takes us through everything to do with working in mocap. Basically the casting process, how it's different to TV and film. I'm going to be talking about that tonight. We're going to recap on lots of stuff. So even if you missed it, we're going to play you some stuff out tonight so you still get value. Before I dive into that though, and let me know in the chat if you were there for that session and what you thought of it. I thought it was an incredible education. I just want to dive over to Facebook for a second because I need your input. Okay, this is our Facebook group for Acts on This. If you're just listening to the audio experience, by the way, if you go to facebook.com/groups/Act on This TV, you will find the group that I've now got up on my screen for those people who are watching the video. And you will see this post that I created today. It's got Bugs Bunny underneath it as a GIF going, "We need your help." What I want to do is produce for you guys, for members only on Acts on This, a very special, super in-depth podcast, really as a celebration of us getting through the last 18 months of this industry just changing so much and sort of getting through lockdown, and now fingers crossed we're kind of coming out the other side of it as an industry. But also it's my 39th birthday in September, and I haven't recorded a video podcast for you guys for such a long time. Since we got locked down in March 2020, we went completely online very, very quickly. I pivoted to going completely online, where we did our what used to be video podcasts that I would record myself in person with our guests, and we started to do Zooms, which is fantastic the way that that's changed. We've done 160 hours worth since lockdown with the biggest casting directors, agents, actors, writers, producers in TV. It's been phenomenal, but I miss recording video podcasts. So for my birthday gift to you, I'm turning the tables, I'm giving you a gift. I want to do a really in-depth podcast, a video podcast. Petch, the Acts on This community manager, he produces a lot of stuff for me as well now, is going to be turning the tables and interviewing me. We've only done this one other time before. Going to be covering loads, and I've written a post in the Facebook group here that you'll see about the podcast topics. We're going to be looking at the most valuable lockdown lessons, how the acting industry has changed over these 18 extraordinary months, our biggest takeaways from the 160 hours of Zoom sessions that we have conducted with literally the biggest names in the business, the behaviours and strategies we've seen Acts on This members implementing to win, those people who have won and booked TV work even in a pandemic. We're going to be looking at the behaviours and strategies that we've seen that haven't worked. We're going to be talking about our own struggles and how we've overcome our own adversity and the adversity we still face, future plans for Acts on This. But then this part is where I need your help, the member Q&A. This is your opportunity ultimately to ask anything you want on anything you want as well, right? This doesn't have to be a really generic kind of act. It's not going to be a generic acting podcast where all we do is just talk about the industry. The reason I love in-depth podcasting like this is because you can get really personal with people as well. I can really get to the core of the guests that I have on, and this is an opportunity for Petch and you lot to get to the core of me. If you've got any questions you want to ask about anything to do with me running actonthis.tv for the last 12 years, my own acting career, voiceover career, anything, nothing is off limits, basically. So if you go to that post in the Facebook group before noon on Friday, you can leave in the comments literally any question, as many as you want, doesn't matter. Petch is going to collate the best questions, and we're going to be recording this coming Friday night. We're going to be recording that podcast. It's going to go out on September the 16th. For you guys, exactly a week after my birthday, and that will be in place of what would have been that week's Zoom call. It'll just be uploaded on the day we would normally have the live Zoom call, but it'll be a good, I reckon, maybe 2.5, 3 hours worth of content for you, where we just cover so much. I think it'll be really, really useful. You'll get a real sort of inside look at everything that we've done at Acts on This over the last 12 months, everything that we've learned from our guests. You know, I've now spent, God knows, I mean, probably 50,000 hours literally over the last 12 years running this site, creating content on the TV industry, working in it myself. I've just got loads and loads and loads of stuff that I want to talk about. So if you want to ask a question, get it in that post on Facebook. And if you're not part of the Facebook group, you need to be anyway, because there's loads of stuff going down in there all the time. There's 10,000 actors in that group all ready to support you. Whether you're a member of actonthis.tv or not, doesn't matter. Get yourself in there, and that's facebook.com/groups/actonthistv. So just have a little look at the comments, and then we're going to dive into some videos I'm going to play out for you guys tonight as well. Esther, how you doing? Caroline is now in the house. Kimberly's here as well. Indra, hay fever. Indra, you know, I've never suffered with it, mate. I don't envy you. It never looks good with my mates. I've got quite a few mates who suffer really quite bad, actually. I'm very, very lucky, but get some Piriton down you, Indra. You'll be fine, mate. Sarah, how you doing? Good to see you doing Cirque du Soleil. Hope that's all going well. Sandra, how you doing as well? Brenda's in the house. Loads of people are here, which is wicked. Anessa says, great idea. Yeah, I just want to produce, and I've not done a podcast for so long, where, you know, we film it as well. It's like, you know, nice video podcast if you want to watch it, or you can listen to the audio. And we're just going to have a really nice chat about basically what's gone on literally over the last couple of years, whilst the world has gone bloody crazy. So now we're going to dive into that session that I spoke about at the start with Jessica Jeffries. So basically, yeah, last week, I'll just pop back over to the site. We had Jessica Jeffries, one of only 2 casting directors really in the UK that focus primarily on performance capture. If you're not a member of Acts on This, go to actonthis.tv, click into the preview section. You can watch a little bit of like a 2-minute preview of what you've missed here. But we covered absolutely loads of stuff. Has anyone worked in video games here who's here tonight? I haven't. This was the first time I've looked at this. It was a real education for me. Just some of the things that we talked about there, like the terminology of performance capture, and the areas of work within it, the technology that's involved on set and how it works, Jessica's exact casting process when she takes on a new project, her work that she's working on right now on the next Peaky Blinders virtual reality game, why you mustn't lie about your height if you want to work in performance capture, getting on Jessica's casting radar and what you must have on your spotlight profile to give yourself a higher chance of auditions, the one critical thing to think about when auditioning for performance capture projects, extra skills that make for a great performance, a great performance capture artist, emailing Jessica and how to get it right, working in performance capture as a disabled actor, the best performance capture workshops to attend, the one thing Jessica wants every actor to know, and much, much more. Honestly, it was just fire. I freaking loved it, and I would love to work in this sector. It looks like so much fun. So we're going to start off. I've just got some clips for you that I'm going to play from that session. And the first one really is like what motion capture even is, like motion capture explained, motion capture 101, as you know, as it is from an actor's perspective. I'm just going to see if anyone is here saying that they have worked in motion capture yet. So he says, can't wait to see it. It's in the members area for you. Zoe, doesn't look like anyone has who's here. I haven't, honestly. It's been an area that I've kind of neglected, but it's the fastest growing sector, and there's an absolute, you know, ton of investment being made in it. So it's a very buoyant sector right now. So this is literally 2 minutes of what motion capture is, and then we're going to dive into sort of the casting side of it as well, and also just some like real one particular next level tip that I bet very, very few actors think about when they audition for motion capture. But here you go, here's 2 minutes on what it is to start with.
The motion capture stage is called a volume. The reason it's called a volume is because you're capturing not just You know, we're not just concentrating on what's on the floor on the stage. We're capturing everything within it. The volume is surrounded by infrared motion capture cameras. 360 degrees are all the way around the studio. Studios of different sizes will have different numbers of cameras, anywhere between maybe 30 odd, all the way up to about 150. Wow. And obviously, the more cameras you have and pointing at so many different parts of the volume, they will be able to capture more. They'll be able to capture stuff at height, you know, for stunt work and all things like that. You are wearing a lycra outfit that has to be skin tight so that it moves true to your movement. So, you know, there's not you moving within your costume, you know, so it moves with the bend of your knees and things like that. So that's why it's skin tight on mainly your movable joints, but then also other different reference points over your body and head, fingers, feet. You will have these reflective, small, soft markers. And what they do is the infrared cameras pick that information up. It goes back into the camera, goes through into the motion capture software. That is creating a rig. So at the beginning of the day, you'll do something called a range of motion, which is you standing in the studio doing all these different movements. And what that does is calibrate all of these dots to the system to create a skeleton.
Right, okay.
And so then throughout the shoot, that software recognizes you as a person and goes, that's your elbow, that's your hand, that's this, that's that. And they create this skeleton from all of these dots. That rig then in real time can get mapped through a game engine straight onto your digital avatar.
Boom, actonthis.tv if you want to unlock the full 2-hour session. But yeah, quite a few technical words there that we were learning that I'd never been aware of before. The stage that you work on in motion capture is known as the volume. The avatar or the character that ultimately you are driving, that's what they say, you know, when you are acting out the movements of that character, is called the rig. And most actors freak out when they've got one camera on them. In motion capture, you can have up to 150 cameras on you at any one time. So they will literally capture absolutely every single movement you make from your head to your toes. So if that doesn't freak you out, then you're all good. I think you said, from 30 to like 150 cameras. But it was just honestly an absolutely amazing session, this. There's a couple of people saying that they have dabbled a little bit in motion capture in the comments here. But it's an area that I definitely want to explore more and more. And Brendan says, it's art meets science and technology. It really is. And we're going to look in a second, Brendan, at like how the casting process is different. And then one thing in particular that people should think about when they are auditioning for motion capture, because there is one part of your body that motion capture doesn't capture. And it's almost like that thing that you need to focus on, even though it is not being captured. It's kind of like, how can I, through my physicality, capture what isn't being captured? So it's interesting. Also, just terminology-wise, I'm going to look at some... I don't think we are going to look at some terminology. I don't think I've put that clip up to play tonight. I only wanted to play 3 clips out. But yeah, terminology-wise, performance capture is basically the overall kind of umbrella for this area of the industry, and then it is broken down underneath that umbrella of performance capture. We've got motion capture, which is capturing your body and all of your movements. You might just have facial capture though, where literally it's just your face and you're driving that rig of your face, you know, for a character. That could be human, or you could be, you know, doing facial capture and they put some alien skin on you in CGI, like, you know, as they're capturing your movements. You might not be necessarily, it's not necessarily capturing your likeness. You are just driving that rig. There is actually photo scanning as well. It's a slightly different part where they do want to capture your likeness. And then there's voiceover, and in some jobs you will be asked to do all of it: motion capture, facial capture, and voiceover. Some will just want the facial, some will just want motion capture for your body. And then some projects, all that work will have been done on the physicality side of stuff, and you'll just be brought in just to voice to voice that. And sometimes as well, it's done the other way around, where the voice is done, and then you've got to go and act with that voice. So they'll play that voice in your ear, and you will have to act that voice out. That's really tricky. It's almost like live dubbing in a way, where you are miming what's happening voice-wise to not your own voice. One of our community members, Ollie, was talking to Jess about that on the call. He was down to the last 2 on a job where he had to do that, that Jessica was casting. He didn't get it, unfortunately, but they talked about that, that process, which sounded absolutely fascinating. Fascinating. I can't speak tonight. Right, second clip then is... which one should we play? Let's play the casting one. It's just one of, as I say, this was a 2-hour, 15-minute session, so it's difficult for me to pick out sort of like, there's so many salient points, but I've just got like 3 here. This is really the difference, or potentially lack of difference in some areas as well, between casting for TV and casting for video games. So take it away, Jess. Where do you begin as a casting director for performance capture?
So I get all of the scripts, but what's different with some games, including Peaky Blinders, is I also managed to get character reference. So they've already designed the character rigs. So I will then also get to see what the characters look like. So from that design, I will get an idea of how we want that character to move. And so when I'm auditioning people, I can think, does that fit with the design that we've got? Like, does it feel like their weight is correct? Does it feel, not as in like how big they are, but as in like grounding? And I get some scripts and I get character bios, and then I will sit down or on Zoom, chat with the director. Sometimes there can be more people involved than perhaps in TV and film.
Yeah. So
there can be cinematics producers, other producers. There can be a game director, like who's an overall game director, plus then performance director, and then there'll be character designers, sound designers that maybe want to be involved because it's them that's going to be deciding what to do with the cast and all the data that they then produce.
Yeah.
So there can be a lot of people, and so then I sort of work out who I want to talk to, who needs to be involved, basically. Yeah. And I try and people manage that for a bit and work out who's going to be, so that, there's not 20 people sat on an audition panel with me. Then I create character briefs. I then audition in a very similar way to that of TV and film.
Yeah.
Except I do concentrate more on physicality.
Bosh, once again, that's on this.tv if you want to unlock the full 2-hour session. But yeah, it's actually surprisingly similar to TV and film, but obviously Jessica, needs to focus more on physicality than she would do necessarily when doing TV and film. Sometimes she has the character rigs already, so knows their physicality in terms of, I don't know, sort of how heavy they are, not like how big they are, but how an actor would be required to, to capture that physicality within their performance. It doesn't mean that you can only, play a character that is of your physical composition or anything like that. That's where it really is, where physical theatre and stuff like that is useful. Something that I don't know about you, but something I absolutely hated at drama school. It was really not what I wanted to do at all, physical theatre. Some of the things that I think back to that we were made to do at drama school, physical theatre wise, I just cringe. I'm like, oh my God. But now, ironically, how many years later? I don't know, 18 years later or something like that. I can see how in the video game world, all that stuff would actually be useful. Anyone else at drama school? I mean, it makes me sort of heave. Anyone else at drama school, were you made to do kind of like crawl around the floor like you're an animal? Oh, God. I was always like, why are we doing this? I just want to work in TV. Why am I doing this? I'm paying loads of money for this. What am I doing? But I can see in this world, that kind of physicality is really, if you are doing alien stuff or you are, doing motion capture for CGI stuff, which is more kind of animal work, I can see how that's really useful now. Whereas all those years ago, I literally just wanted the ground to swallow me up and just go, why are we doing this? This is pointless. So if anybody else felt that pain of doing physical theatre at any point in your training, fear not, it has not gone to waste. It was not all for nothing. If you want to work in the video game world, it might only end up bloody coming in useful, mightn't it? I had to be the colour blue. Oh, Brian. I mean, what is that? This is what I mean. That's what I think. If they still make drama school students do that, that's what I think is wrong with with drama school training today. Be the colour blue. I promise you, you walk on set onto Line of Duty, or even, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a show with blue in it. I can't remember things like Thin Blue Line and NYPD Blues. They're never going to go, hi Brian, thanks for coming in. You know that those lines that you learnt for the audition and those scenes that we did. We're not going to do that. If you just like to improvise through contemporary dance, the colour blue, we're just going to film that and we're going to put that out to the public. Ain't ever going to happen. I think we need to modernise drama school training. However, the animal work, although as cringe as it kind of be at the time, I can see how in this world, in the video game world, that's probably really really useful. Genuinely, I'm not even knocking that. I was at the time, but so many people are saying, yeah, they did that as well. It's so 1960s, isn't it? That whole thing. Dash and dart through the room and walk into a space and walk into another space and dashing and darting and crawling. It's just a total waste of time. I was like, I'm paying 15 grand for this degree. It's about 50 grand now to do the same degree. I would not be up for it. Mark says, even for humans in mocap, animals are very useful. It all starts with the walk. You might have to think quickly to create character from nothing and could start with a rhino or a hyena. No, I can see it, Mark. Seriously. As I say, it's the only industry where I can go, oh, that's relevant. When cameras are involved, I can see how you can go a little bit crazy and stuff in the theatre world, not a world I want to work in. But I always want to work in front of a camera because I just love technology, and I can see how in this industry, that's where the two kind of collide. Brian says it was Stanislavski's Be the Colour Blue. And he was an oak tree once too. Oh, God. If anybody's currently at drama school, please let me know if they still do that. As I say, it's nearly 20 years since I graduated drama school. So please let me know if that is still the case, definitely. Jackie's been doing a bit of animal studies recently. No, I say I'm not knocking the animal studies, Jackie. I think that's pretty useful in the old performance capture mocap world. So yeah, interesting. And and Brendan, you got the book. All the winners of the book who were on this session with Andy Nyman that we did for members only, and I gave away 10 copies of his book. They should all be sent out now. Anyone who won an Amazon gift card on the Cocktails and Conversation evening, if you remember, that's on this.tv. We just host the best nights, guys. You should all have your Amazon gift cards now, and the book should be out. So it's good to hear that you got that, Brendan. Cracking book for anybody. I would recommend. Anybody have the anybody get the Golden Rules of Acting, it's called, and More Golden Rules of Acting by Andy Nyman. They're dead cheap. They're like £6-7 each, something like that. Get them checked out. Right, last clip that I want to play out when it comes to the motion capture stuff. This is really interesting. I had never, and I don't think I would have ever thought of this had Jessica not brought this up on the broadcast. Mark, you've worked quite a bit in motion capture. You'll probably maybe be able to expand on this as well for us in the comments on Facebook. But this was the one thing that could potentially be the secret to having a good casting and having a great casting. Jessica was explaining that in motion capture, the only thing that they are not capturing really is the eyes. The eyes of the character generally are always going to be animated. So you only have your physicality to portray the emotion you would normally see in a human being's eyes. Obviously, they can replicate that to a certain degree within CGI. They can do their best to do that. But one way you can make that job easier for them is to focus on your breath. And that's something I wouldn't have thought of. But this is Jessica's take, literally on her one secret. That could really help you nail your next or even your first performance capture casting. So here we go again. What's the difference between that, first of all, live action and performance of VFX?
Oh, so live action as in film, TV, as we as we know it. You'd audition for a TV or film project, normally probably giving like a mid-close shot so that your eyes can tell this character's story, and the casting director and stuff will be able to like tell exactly what you're thinking and everything like that. One of the main differences in performance capture and performances for VFX is the only part of your performance that we do not capture are your eyes.
Okay.
So they are the only thing that is completely animated. I bang on so much about breath because breath is such a key driving force in performance capture and VFX performance, because it signifies to animators what your character is feeling at that time so that they can animate the eyes to match the rest of your performance. Right. It also gives an undercurrent of life. So if you're completely still with absolutely nothing going on, your avatar is dead. It's still, there's no life under it. So we need something bubbling underneath. So there's always got to be this undercurrent with breath, and then that breath can tell us if you're nervous, if you're scared, if you're happy, if there's suspense. Breath is such a great teller for all of these things, and it reads so nicely on a virtual character rig. So that's one of the main differences, is I don't always look for what an actor's telling me in their eyes. I will look for what their whole performance through their body and their breath is telling me. And off the back of that, I try to make sure that you're communicating the whole story and completely connected to character through your whole physicality. So I will often ask for full body shots in auditions so that I can see that you're entirely connected.
One last time, actsonthis.tv, get a membership if you want to unlock the full 2-hour session, along with about another 400 hours worth of incredible acting career advice from the biggest casting directors, agents, actors, writers, producers, and directors in TV or video games like Jessica. So isn't that interesting? We are absolutely conditioned as actors who work in film and TV to show, physicality, to be still or stiller. It's not theatre, and to play a lot of our emotion through our eyes. In performance capture, they're the only thing Jessica isn't looking at. It's kind of the only thing that that they're going to recreate. Ultimately, they're not looking at your eyes to tell the story because they have to animate those eyes of yours. But you can get that emotion across, or the state of being of that character, via your breath. And it's something that I wouldn't really have thought of. So it's interesting to focus on that as opposed to going, I'm going to show you some subtle emotion in my eyes that actually isn't going to be caught, when it comes to VFX. So that's a little hack for you there that I thought was great. So think about that if you are indeed, you ever get an opportunity to audition for somebody like Jess. Josh said he had a one-to-one with Jess last Monday and didn't know about breath, but did it have instinct at a certain point in the script, and she loved it. She saw what my character had been through and showed personality. There you go, Josh. You don't even need selling. He just knew it. He just knew it instinctively. But no, that's wicked, man. It's something that, maybe, subconsciously we just do. But I think if you're conscious of it and you can use the breath, at various points in the performance, then it's going to give you a bit of an extra edge on the competition. Quite a few people are talking about emailing casting directors right now, and a lot being on holiday. Alex, bar stalking them completely on social media. Check the people's social media out. If they're on holiday, they'll say they're going on holiday. Or people these days want to post every single part of their holiday, from having a beer at the airport to everything on their holiday to getting back into the country, and probably aren't present for any of their holiday because they're just too busy posting it on Instagram and Twitter. So always keep an eye on people's on social media if you want to find out that. But apart from that, don't second guess and just talk yourself out of being proactive. A bit, I'm not going to email them on the off chance they're on holiday because it's August. There'll be a lot of people who aren't ready to go on holiday, with COVID, don't feel safe enough to travel yet and all that sort of stuff. They won't, we're not in usual holiday period time. So if you want to send some emails out, mate. The worst that can happen is you get an out of office Simple as that, and then you'll know. But yeah, don't put off today. Yeah, don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. Sam says, with a good webinar, interested to hear some of the development technology that could make it accessible for wheelchair users. Yeah, that was really interesting as well. There's a lot of work being done all around the industry, TV, film, and performance capture around disability and making things more accessible. It's as cliched as hell where we always say there's still work to do. There probably always will be. I don't think we'll ever get to a point where we go, yeah, everything is absolutely equal for everybody, regardless of anything in your life. But yeah, it's nice to see that technology is evolving. Apparatus and the types of suits and things like that are changing so that all motion can be captured. That sometimes, like Jess was saying, some of the markers down people's spines would be covered. If someone was a wheelchair user, would be hidden from the cameras via their wheelchair. So she's saying there are suits now that don't require those markers to actually be seen by the cameras. Some really interesting sort of advancements in technology that just make it accessible for everybody. So that we can have, a much more diverse array of characters in computer games. Ultimately, I just wish I had a bit more time to bloody play them. I've got a Nintendo Switch. I've got Pokemon. I want to play it, but there's not a lot of performance capture being done in Pokemon. Mark says breath is absolutely the place to start. You can practice your character's idle or base pose to get a standard position and state, and breath brings that to life. I love it, Mark. I just love it, man. It's funny because I recognize all of this stuff now when I see games, but it wouldn't have been obvious to me as an actor, to sort of bring a character to life in that way, because we're just not used to doing that. On camera, if you're doing an episode of a TV show, generally speaking, unless you're in a really heightened state or you've been running, you're not going to be going, I think people in film and TV can really over-rely on breath. People use their breath when I see this a lot as well, when actors feel they've got to do a little bit more because they feel they can't have, when an actor is not confident of a pause or silence, they tend to fill the silences with breath. They want to fill the silences with they almost want to comment on what they've just said via a breath. So they'll say their line, and this is where I think you can spot an unconfident new actor a mile off. Is they'll say something, and rather than just in real life where we would just leave it and we would just let that silence settle, they go something like that. It's really false, really forced, and I think a lot of the time it's buying time because they might have even forgotten their next line. It's almost like they are commenting on what they have just said. When we don't do that in real life, we don't really comment on the thing that we just said via a weird noise or a breath. But I noticed that a lot in film and TV. So that's not what you kind of want, and yet you wouldn't want it in performance capture, but you would want people to work with their breath a lot more. He says as he takes a massive breath. Who knows which casting director is casting Call My Agent? Anybody know? Is it Tracy Gillan? No, it's Rachel Freck. It's Rachel Freck. Definitely Rachel Freck, Brennan. Yep. Just remembered. Let's have a look. Let's have a look if we got any other comments here. We've read that one. That would be unbelievable. I was just thinking today about how I was going to soundproof my room. What's that, Stephen? What are you talking about? Soundproofing the old room. I must be missing a conversation that's going down in the comments there. But yeah, they were just 3 little clips. I mean, obviously, there's a 2-hour, 15-minute session with Jessica. Like I say, if you do want to get access to the full session, along with so much more, go to actonthis.tv. You can check out the preview of that session in the preview section. You can also check out the previews of all previous sessions. We literally bring you the biggest people in the industry every single week on a Tuesday or a Thursday. Carleen Crawford, casting director, one of the biggest in the industry, was on week before last. We had Andy Nyman on, Melissa Johns, Johnny Weldon, the Twitter legend. We've had agents from United, Felix DeWolf, Stephen Graham was on the week before that. The guys from 53.2, BBC casting directors, Steve Hughes, great director. There's a lot of Netflix shows, just like loads and loads of top people, basically. They're all available in the members area. Get yourself in there. And listen, and those people who are like, oh, I get this sometimes quite a lot from actors going, oh, I'm really sorry, I've been really busy, I've not had a chance to tune in live. You don't have to tune in live every week. Just catch up on the replays. The only commitment as an Acts on This member that you need to make to stay abreast of everything that's going on in the industry, to get all the inside information from the biggest names in the game, to basically, find out who is doing what and get permission from them to basically, on every session, the savvy actors in our community use the sessions to really find out about the people that we have on, if they're casting directors particularly. And then they're giving members of our community very often their email address and saying, yeah, I want to hear from you. It's like the perfect reason to reach out and get in front of them. I don't know why people don't see, like, that for me is like the overall massive value. It's like, you're getting introduced to people you would never normally get a chance to, to hear from. And they're given their contact details going, yeah, people in the community, you got something to say, reach out and let me know. This coming week, I want to talk about what's going on, not even this week, it's tomorrow. I forgot the next session is tomorrow night. If you go over to actsonthis.tv/live, you can see the schedule of stuff that we've got coming up. It's not completely up to date because I've booked some more guests now, but tomorrow evening, we have got Hollyoaks director, Mr. David Crowley, joining us. Now, David, actually, for the last 12 years, has been an acting coach and the on-set acting coach for Hollyoaks. He's the guy who, if you got you got down to the last few people for a regular role, one of the lead characters on Hollyoaks, he would be the guy who would be coaching you through your screen test. He coaches actors on Hollyoaks for some of their biggest scenes when that show wants to push their actors to win NTAs, and soap awards and stuff like that. David is their on-set coach, but he's recently, just in July, his first 5 episodes, his first block of Hollyoaks that he directed, aired some really awesome storylines, and he is going to be directing more Hollyoaks. He'll probably go on to direct more serial drama, more TV, but he's just at the start of breaking into his TV directing career. So I thought, let's get him back on. He's not been on in over a year. We're going to be talking about his process of going from acting coach, on-set acting coach to director, working with the actors at Hollyoaks, all the casting sessions, getting on his radar for castings. Now he is casting the day player roles in the episodes that he is directing. He works very closely with Peter Hunt and Jill Charnock, the casting directors at Hollyoaks. So we're looking at all of that, basically any kind of questions you have on self-tapes, in the room casting, working with directors on set. Making sure you work again once you've booked your first TV job, booking your first TV job, all kinds of stuff. That's happening tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. You'll get a chance to jump on camera as well, some of you guys, and ask David questions one-to-one. The following week, we've got agent Alex Priestley, really quality agent. Alex, again, has not been on actsonthis.tv for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years probably. I'm bringing lots of guests who have not been on for a while back in August and September. Week after that, fans of Ricky Gervais's Afterlife, I freaking love Lenny in Afterlife. We've got Mr. Tony Way, just such an incredible actor. This guy is not just Lenny in Afterlife either. He's had an incredible career so far. He's got 100, I think last time I checked, 111 IMDb credits in really, really quality TV shows as well. Afterlife is probably my favourite show on earth, but he's done huge shows over the years as well, things like Game of Thrones. I'm trying to think what else if we go to... Let's have a look if we go to Tony Way IMDb. It's insane how many shows this guy's worked on. He was in Des, the ITV drama that just... 111. See how I remember that? 111. This guy is just like... absolutely on fire. But yeah, Des, that was a massive ITV drama with David Tennant. Lewis Arnold directed that. Afterlife, obviously he's played Lenny in both seasons of that and season 3. Giri Hadji, that was massive. He's just done absolutely, an absolute ton of shows over the years. Really, really decent parts. Jekyll and Hyde, that was huge when that was out. Cradle to Grave, I was in that. I didn't know he was in that. But yeah, it's going to be on in a few weeks' time, just talking all about his career, basically, what it's like working with Ricky Gervais, how he got that job, all of his secrets that he's going to share with you guys to help you get further in your careers faster. The week after that, we're doing that special podcast. The week after that, I've got an agent from, I think it's going to be that week, from Independent Talent, one of the biggest acting agencies in the country, well, in the world, to be honest. Just quality stuff, guys. There's never been a better time to be a member of actonthis.tv. And if you're not, get a membership. It's going to cost you a coffee a week, guys. Like, literally. I went out for a couple of drinks with Richard Haler, and Acts on This member. You guys will know from these Monday Night Lives. He often shows up on Facebook, but he's from Birmingham, lives in Miami. He came over to visit his agent. We went out for a drink. One beer is £6. I was like, there's a week's Acts on This membership, like, for one beer. So yeah, it's super, super cheap. The best value you will find in the industry. Lauren, how you doing? Good to see you've made it. Tony's great in Afterlife, says Josh. Love that show. I would just love to be in that. That would be it for me. If I could just work with Ricky Gervais as a regular in Afterlife, even if it's just for one season, I'd probably retire. I'd be happy to retire in that. Right, it's 1:45. Let's play this little trailer out so you get to meet David Crowley before tomorrow night. And then we'll just do sort of 10 minutes of Q&A if you want. But this is David talking a little bit about what's going on tomorrow night on this member Zoom session. He's a total legend, such a nice guy. Actors, you do not want to miss this. I have got a very special invite for you to a very special actonthis.tv live mastermind session. It's taking place on Zoom on Tuesday, the 24th of August at 7:30 p.m. with this absolute legend here. The last time we had him on Act on This, he was the on-set acting coach at Hollyoaks, helping actors nail their screen test to land regular roles on the show. Now, he's also directing the show. So, Hollyoaks director David Crowley, welcome back to Act on This. What are we going to be covering on Tuesday night?
So, if you want to know more about any useful acting techniques or audition or self-tape prep, we're going to have a bit of a chat about all that stuff.
Yep.
If you want to know a little bit about screen tests, I do work on screen tests still at Hollyoaks, so we can chat about that. Working on set as a day player, yep, or working on set as a series regular can give you a little bit of insight from a directorial perspective. And also any other chats that you've got about any other things related to filming on set.
I love it. Basically, if you want to work on Hollyoaks, there's no better guy. We've had Peter Hunt on, head of Hollyoaks casting recently. David is your next best guy. If you want to work on the show, you want to join in on this. If you do want to be there, get yourself over right now to actonthis.tv/live for full details of how you can join us for this session, if I can speak, and all future sessions. We do this every single week with the biggest names in the business: casting directors, agents, actors, writers, directors, producers, the best people in the industry, basically, David. Little bit of pressure on you right now. I ask everybody this question on these trailers. Why don't the actors watching this trailer want to miss this session in particular?
The pressure question. Okay.
Definitely.
So, you don't want to miss this because I'm going to be sharing with you some guidance, some advice on audition prep, working on set. And if you come to the session, you might learn some things that can help you smash the next time you walk through the room and see Peter or Jill in that casting room.
I love it. If you ever get a screen test as well, this guy's going to help you nail it. Be there, actonthis.tv/live. Boom! You are gonna want to be there. Yeah, honestly, there's nobody better to train you, give you insight into nailing your Hollyoaks casting, like in particular. Yes, everything David talks about is going to apply to TV castings and serial drama, but if there is one show he knows innately, he knows what the casting directors there, Peter and Jill and the whole team there, want, what they require from you, their likes, their dislikes, the pitfalls actors fall into, the things they do well, and ultimately, yeah, getting actors through a screen test to land the regular role, if that is your dream. Maybe there's quite a few people in the industry, in our community, who would love nothing more to work in that part of the industry and go, yeah, you know what, like a regular on Hollyoaks, someone like that is absolutely what I want to do. So don't miss out on that opportunity to be there, get that insight, and get the opportunity potentially to jump on camera and ask David a question one-to-one. It's just a great guy to know as well. Make sure you follow up with him. That's the gold when it comes to these sessions. When we bring David on, he's going to drop his social media details. It's a fantastic thing, to then go and connect with him. If you have relevant stuff, he's going to be directing Hollyoaks again. Then, you drop your show reel through, etc., etc. if you're not doing that when you come to these sessions, you're missing out on like so much. If you're just watching them and you're not acting on them, because that's why it's called Act on This, you are missing a trick. Definitely. Maya says, sounds awesome. All useful stuff. At a party tomorrow. Look forward to watching the recording. Well, luckily for you, Maya, there is going to be a recording. It will be up on Wednesday afternoon. And yeah, all you need to do literally is put a pair of headphones in for 90 minutes a week, guys. That is it. If you want to stay on top and get ahead of your competition, just put some earphones in for 90 minutes. There's just no excuse unless people literally say they want to have success in this industry, but they don't really want it. If you can't put some headphones in while you walk the dog, it's literally all you have to do to get insight and information that nobody else in this industry is giving you. Let's have a look. Sandra says, in 5 or 10 years, when I don't have to worry about working visas anymore, because Sandra's from Germany, I'm so going to be in that room. Or in another one. Yeah, or anyway, it'll be useful for me tomorrow. Yeah, Sandra, honestly, definitely. You know, if you I know you want to relocate to the UK or to Ireland, then yeah, you know, it's all about your network. It's about who you know, knowing what they like, knowing what they don't, knowing what's useful for them, how to add value. The business side of this business is so neglected by 99% of actors. It's why so few actors work. Like when you look around you, you know, and you see loads of actors saying, yeah, I want to be an actor, and they put it in their Twitter bio and they put it in their Instagram bio, and they're telling you on one hand that it's what I'm born to do, this is all I want to do, I can't do anything else, and you give you that same story. Everyone says there's nothing else I can do, so I have to succeed. Well, why aren't you putting the work in? Why aren't you studying the business side of this? Why are you going to the same acting class you've been to for the last 5 years and expecting to get a different result? Ultimately, you're going to a youth club. That's all you're doing now. If you go at the same class doing the same type of scripts in front of the same people week in and week out, and you're paying your 25, 30 quid to make yourself feel better that you're progressing your career, you're kidding yourself if you don't know how to implement that talent you have nurtured and put it into practice in the business to actually earn some money. Otherwise, you're going to be doing that Pizza Express job that, you know, you've been doing for years. It was me. I was kidding myself. 15 years ago, I'd been working in retail for 11 years, going, no, it's all right, I'll get discovered. No, you won't. No one is knocking on your door. No one is looking for you. Nobody is looking for you. As brutal as that sounds, if you are not making people aware that you exist, you might as well do something else. So yeah, put some time into learning about the business of the business, and that's all we do in this community on actsonthis.tv. Right, we have got 10 minutes exactly. What do you want to talk about? Over to you guys, basically. Any pressing questions or anything that you want to discuss? Anyone got anything going on this week that you need a bit of help with? Any agent meetings or, you know, casting, self-tapes, generals? Anything at all. Who's going to be there tomorrow night, by the way? Let us know if you are going to be there with David. Give me a heads up. I will be expecting you. Sam says she's going to be trying to sort out her photos tomorrow for her agent last minute, being asked to update. Might make the end. When you get if you're getting headshots, Sam, it is absolutely critical. Even though I know it's a limited amount of time you have now, but tonight or before you go and get your photos done, you really need to get clear on what it is you want from that shoot. A lot of actors waste money on headshot shoots by going into it thinking that the point of the shoot is just to stand there. If you don't know what you want those shots to be used for when you come out of that session, so you don't know your casting type, you don't know the looks that you need from that shoot to put in front of the casting directors to really show that casting type and make it clear, you come out with 800 generic shots and you'll have no idea what you want to pick. You'll post them in a Facebook group and you'll go, guys, which headshots should I have? And then you'll get 300 people giving you different opinions, and they won't even know you, so they don't know your casting type, they don't know you authentically, and then you try and market yourself with a headshot that isn't you. So make sure you know what maybe 3 looks you need from that shoot for when you get those photos back. Think about the clothes you're going to wear. I know it's like proper against the clock because if it's happening tomorrow, you don't have long. But yeah, just don't want you to waste a headshot shoot because I see it happening a lot. Get clear. The more you can work backwards from what it is you want, the easier it is to to get a result, basically. So good luck with that, though. I look forward to seeing the results. Kimberly's got a table read tomorrow. Nice one, Kimberly. Hope that goes well for you as well. Does anybody know a pianist in or near Haywards Heath? I need to work on my music for a one-man show, says Brendan. Any pianists on the replay as well? If you are a pianist in or near Haywards Heath. I don't even know where that is, Brendan, but Haywards Heath, give Brendan a shout. There's Brendan O'Connor in the Facebook group for those who are on the replay. Alex is going to be there tomorrow night with David. Good stuff. And yeah, I definitely take on those things I said about headshots, Sam. Get clear. Honestly, you'll come out with such a better result on the photos because you actually go into it knowing what you want. Same with people's show reels and shit like that. Get specific. Go, before I shoot this scene for my show reel, what is it I need this scene to say about me? And align that with where you're at in your career. If you're right at the start of your career, it is pointless going, I'm going to shoot something super dramatic, because you're never going to get a shot at those roles, because no one's going to trust you to play a massive lead role in Line of Duty when you've never had one line on Coronation Street. So when you know what it is you need from a show reel, and before you even shoot it, you know which casting directors are going to get it before you've even shot it, you can tailor it to appeal so much more to those people. And then you're really using it as a tool, like you are using it's almost like you're creating a screwdriver, because you need to undo some screws to get in. What a lot of actors do is they go and make a hammer, and then they go, oh, try and undo the screws to the casting room with my hammer. No, it doesn't work. You created something completely incongruent with that casting director. That thing does not resonate with them. Don't send Jenny Radcliffe at Coronation Street a scene where you're playing some sort of like underground mafia boss, because it's generally not going to be useful for Coronation Street. Anyone know a good accent coach who can help with a Dutch accent, says Maya. Accent coaches, there's Samantha Masano in our community. That's Samantha and then Mesagno. Maya, Mesagno. You'll find Sam in the Facebook group. She's a fantastic accent coach. There's also Natalie Grady. I don't know her email, but on Twitter, at Nat Grady, Grady. Natalie's very good. I would definitely look up those two people. I'm sure other people can recommend some other people as well. James is going to be there tomorrow. James, good to see you, mate. Didn't know you were here. Hope all is well. Oh, and Maya is Dutch. Just needs to relearn how she used to talk 30 odd years ago. Oh, Maya. I don't know. If I try to do a Dutch accent now, people will just say I was stereotyping or being some sort of like racist to Dutch people. So I won't do it. I'm trying to think I can do. No, I can't even. I mean, ask Sandra how my German accent is, and I can speak German. It's still not great. Emma's reapplying for voice agents. Got work as an audiobook narrator at the moment, but I've noticed that voice agents tend to care more about commercials. Yeah, absolutely. Audiobook stuff is such a long process, Emma. Good on you for sticking with that, because it's bloody hard work, and it's not. The thing for audiobook stuff that people need to realise is it might seem on the face of it that the fees are all right. They might go, okay, right, it's £75 an hour. And you go, holy shit, I'm only earning £10 an hour in my job. But it's £75 an hour of finished audio, usually. So it's not like, they expect you in many cases to record the audio, edit the audio, and sort of master the audio. So 1 hour of finished audio might take you 3 hours to record and edit. So, I mean, that's still all right, isn't it? 25 quid an hour or whatever, if you're just used to, more of a service industry sort of minimum wage job. But after commission and stuff, there's not loads of money in it for agents and stuff, Emma. So, yeah, commercial stuff, documentary stuff, and the corporate world, actually, because corporate jobs, they're not super, super well paid. They might be like 250, 300 quid if there's no usage on them, but they're very quick. They're very quick jobs. You'll do them within an hour, and then that is the job. But audiobooks is a slog, so good on you. Like, that takes perseverance, definitely. You won't find any specific audiobook agencies. Most people, if you want to just do audiobooks and you want to nail that, and that's what you want to do, use Amazon ACX. That's Amazon's service where, for Audible and stuff like that, where they just put out loads of books to tender, and actors can almost sort of like bid on it, say, listen, I'll do it for X amount in X amount of time, all that kind of thing. But yeah, you won't find many agencies that are jumping, up and down when it comes to audiobooks, just because they take their artists out of the game for a long time. Whereas sometimes, like just after this, I've got to do a demo for a voiceover for a bingo commercial. It's 7 lines, I think, something like that. And if whoever gets it will receive, at least $250 for the session, and then up to thousands of pounds for the usage. So it might take 35 minutes. So agencies want that kind of work to make it worthwhile for both the artist and the agent. So when you're doing your voiceover reel, make sure you crush the commercials. You do really good commercial reads that really suit you and the brands. Again, like your casting type as an actor, the brands that you are doing the adverts for really are aligned to you. Don't go to some bullshit one-stop like, oh, we'll do your voice reel for you and we'll give you all the scripts as well. And then they just give you the same generic 5 scripts they've given to the last 30 actors who have been through there. What a waste of money. You'll think, oh, this sounds good, but every agent you send it to will be like, I've heard this 25 times this week. You need to make sure that the products you are voicing in the commercial parts of your reel are really aligned to, who you are and the kind of voice you have and the kind of products that that's congruent with. And they're very often the products that you use, because a lot of the commercial kind of producers want those commercials to be voiced by people who sound like they use their products. So if you have a particular favorite website for clothes that you use, or a particular, shampoo or beauty products or something like that, they're very often the kind of people that they want voicing those would be the people who use them. So that's a little tip for you. Imogen's going to her first ever recall in London on Thursday. Very exciting, Imogen. Good luck for that. Definitely keep us posted on that. That's awesome. Anything else? Kelly says Maeve Diamond in London. Not heard of Maeve Diamond, but Maeve Diamond in London is amazing. She does some accent coaching on Zoom, apparently. All kinds of good stuff going down. It's 10 o'clock, folks. I can't believe how fast these hours go. It's crazy. So crazy how fast these go. I'll love you and leave you, but thank you so much for joining us. If you've got other questions I've not been able to address tonight, if you're a member of actonthis.tv, don't forget as well, this Friday we have our member-only Rapid Fire Friday session on Zoom, 4 p.m. till 5 p.m. Come and ask anything you want, get support from the entire community. There's so much you get for your membership at Act On This. You get 7 Zoom sessions a month for less than you would pay most people for one, like 24 quid a month for 7 with bigger names than anybody else has in the industry. Complete no-brainer. Plus you get all of the community support from us guys as well. But yeah, if you want to chat more, jump on the Rapid Fire Friday call on Friday. I will send you all an email about that. Come and join us tomorrow night with David Crowley. Let's get everybody jobs on Hollyoaks. And don't forget to put your questions in the Facebook group for that podcast me and Petch are going to be recording on Friday to celebrate my 39th birthday. I can't believe I'm that old. I cannot freaking believe it. Every time I go to Sainsbury's on a Saturday night to do my shopping, because I try and stay away from people at the moment. I'm like, pandemic, go and do your shopping on a Saturday night when other people who have a life are out living it. And every week, I'm hopeful I'll get ID'd. Never do. Not been ID'd in, I don't know, getting on for 20 years. It's just not fair. Even with a mask on, I'm like, come on, I've got tracksuit bottoms on and trainers, still don't get ID'd. Terrible. But yeah, I would love to answer your questions, and nothing is off limits on that chat. We can chat about the industry, business, personal stuff, anything you want, like literally anything you want. I'm game for just a really, open, honest, vulnerable chat with Petch, guided by the questions that you submit on that Facebook post. So check out the group, facebook.com/groups/actonthisTV. Find that post I put up today. Leave your question in the comments, and Petch will get to that. Indra hates being ID'd. Indra, you won't hate it when you're 39, mate. You embrace being ID'd because, you should love that. You should love that. If you're still getting ID'd, don't wish that away. Don't wish your youth away, Indra. Definitely. What should I play you? To finish, I'm going to play you a trailer. I'll play you a few more little segments of Jessica's session we did last week on video games. If you want to access the full 2-hour, 15-minute version of this, actsonthis.tv. Get your membership, and then you can get access to these calls as well. Really hope to see you tomorrow night live. And Nick says you don't look 38, 39, Ross. They might not think you're 18, but they wouldn't guess you were late 30s. Cheers, Nick. I'll say that. What you say, mid-30s, mate? I'll have mid-30s. I'll have anything. Just, yeah, oh, God. I'm going. I can't say late 30s. Mid-30s. Hi, my name's Ross, and I'm mid-30s. Lots of love, everybody. Until next time, bye for now. One of the UK's leading casting directors in performance and motion capture. It's Jessica Jeffries. Jessica, like I say, an absolute first for me. I'm so looking forward to it. Thanks so much for being here. How long were you actually performing? How did you get into it? And how have you ended up where you are?
There were things that needed to change, and I started campaigning with equity, like campaigning to equity for these changes to be made, and realised that actually in order to get these made, I had to take myself out of the equation as an actor and put myself in a position where people had to listen to me. And that was sort of my driving force into moving into casting.
We got mocap, facial capture, and voiceover. So just to get that terminology right, guys, when you're hearing about performance capture, I imagine that's the overall, obviously we're capturing a performance, but we might just be on a job wanting your face. We might just be wanting your body and, you know, your frame, and then we might want just your voice.
The motion capture stage is called a volume. The reason it's called a volume is because you're capturing not just, you know, we're not just concentrating on what's on the floor on the stage, we're capturing everything within it. One of the main differences in performance capture and performances for VFX is the only part of your performance that we do not capture are your eyes.
Where do you begin as a casting director for performance capture?
In a very similar way to that of TV and film.
Yeah.
Except I do concentrate more on physicality.
What percentage of new talent do you bring in as opposed to your stable of people who are your go-to people?
So I haven't a show reel. Would you be interested in seeing a self-tape or not?
Do you get specific skill sets more for male roles and then more for female roles? Like, a certain skill's more useful if you're one or the other?
It's just like the rest of the industry in that there's no magic way of getting a job. It's like going, how do I get a job in telly? You know, so it's the same as that in a way, but it's way more fun.